Hi, everyone, and welcome to Child Development 1103, the Child Development Professional. I'm really glad you're here. For all of you, this is your first class in the Child Development program at Western, at least in many years. Unless you've taken a class with me before a long time ago, this course is designed to be the first class in this program. So welcome to the program. For many of you, this might also be your first college class period or your first time back in college in a while. So either way, I'm very glad that you're here. My name is Mrs. Sturgeon, and I will be your instructor for most of your child development courses. Occasionally, you may have a class taught by an adjunct instructor, but for now and for most of the program, uh, you'll be seeing a lot of me, especially at first, in your first few semesters, if you're working towards your certificate first, your CDA certificate through us, which has a different name through us, but for ease's sake, it serves as your CDA. If you're working towards that, it's a total of 18 college credit hours or 6 classes. And those 6 classes are English Comp 1 and 5 child development classes. So we're going to spend a lot of time together over the next few semesters. And then once you get your certificate, you may or may not decide to continue on with your associate's degree. And if you do that, you'll get a break from me for a little bit while you take some of your gen ed classes, and then in your last semester or two, you'll come back and take some more classes with me. But for those of you working on your certificate, and that is usually most of you, we spend a lot of time together in these first few semesters. You're also going to be seeing a lot of the other students that are in this class, because since you're starting at the same time, you'll end up having a lot of the same classes together. So when we have discussions or Zoom meetings, I really encourage you to look around and to get to know one another and to start building connections, because these aren't only your classmates for the next few semesters, possibly years, and they're also your colleagues, your fellow colleagues in Western Oklahoma childcare. So I really hope you can develop a sense of community here, even though this is an online program. I hope that you'll stay connected with one another. You may share ideas, you may support one another, and you may even run into each other at professional development events long after this class ends. So I hope you'll remember each other. So I also want you to know this. Everything available to on-campus students at Western is available to you as an online student. Sometimes access may look a little different, but you are absolutely 100% a pioneer and part of this campus community. So you're always welcome on campus and to use resources available on campus if that's an option for you, depending on where you live. And if it's not an option, we'll find ways to get you the resources you need, because we are all very glad that you're here and ready to be pioneers. So right now, I want to take a look at your classroom. So, sorry, let me do a little finagling here with my recording. I need to share my screen with you. Okay, I think you can see my screen now. My notes on what I want to be saying to you, so I don't forget anything popped up for a second there. All right, so Canvas. Canvas is your classroom. Think of it like a physical classroom, a space that you need to get to know. If you're watching this video, you've already found the homepage. This is it, and I know that you found it because you're watching this video that's posted right here. So on the homepage, you'll see course information, my contact details, and my office hours. My phone number is included. Please note that my work phone number only reaches me when I'm physically in my office during the hours listed. So if you call outside those hours, you may not hear back until the next business day or until Monday if you call late Thursday or on Friday, since I work from home on Fridays. So if it's Thursday afternoon or Friday and you need to get hold of me, don't use that phone number, please. We'll talk about the many other ways that you can get a hold of me. So like I said, there are many ways to reach me. A note that I don't want to forget real quick before I move forward is if you do not see this menu right here, it's because you need to toggle here. So if your screen looks like this, push these lines so that you can see this very important menu that is going to be all kinds of things that you need to see. Your syllabus, that's something that you need to read. It's got important class information and campus information. And you're also going to have your first week, one of your first week assignments, excuse me, is a scavenger hunt, because I want you to do a scavenger hunt through Canvas, like I said, your classroom. And there are going to be questions on it from the syllabus. So this is what your syllabus looks like. If it'll load. So here it is, and you can just scroll through and read all kinds of information. These are your assignments and what they're due and all kinds of things. It is a way that you can access the assignments too is by clicking on these, but we're going to talk about the best way to access your assignments here in a minute. So course summary is the same thing that you just saw in the syllabus, but there's a lot more information in the syllabus I didn't scroll down to. So keep going past that when you open it. I'm going to skip modules for now because we need to have important talks about it, but your grades are where you can see how you're doing in the class. I recommend doing this often because you just want to keep up with grades. And you also need to check graded assignments because often, because that's where I give feedback. That's one of my teaching tools is extensive feedback when I grade assignments, when it's appropriate. Because this isn't an in-person class where we can have discussion and ask questions, I try to give lots of tips and feedback that you can use in the classroom. I'm so sorry. And also tips for improving future assignments. So make sure you're opening assignments and reading feedback when I give it, please. Also, you'll want to check often because occasionally, like if there's something wrong with an assignment, like I can't access it or something like that, in order to get your attention, I'm mostly likely going to enter a 0 because I've noticed that gets people's attention real fast. And it doesn't always mean that I that you're going to keep a 0. It just means I needed to get your attention. Once I've left comments with your assignments, you're going to see a little icon over here. That's where you'll click on the icon to see, why does this say 0? Oh, because the link's not working or something like that. So this is your grades. There's also, I can't see it in this view. When you're in your grade book, you'll be able to see a place where you can play with your grades. Like you can enter hypothetical grades to see, like if it's the end of the semester and you're like, oh my gosh, what happens if I make this on this assignment? You can play, you can do hypothetical things. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so then modules is your very important tab that I was talking about. But again, I'm going to come back to it later. I'm going to go to the home page for now. So let's talk about office hours first. Office hours are times when I am specifically available to help you. That's not to say I'm not going to answer messages as soon as possible, anytime that I see them. But you do not need an appointment for these times. I have daytime, evening, and weekend office hours because I know that most of you work full-time, and so I want to have flexible hours available to you. So during office hours, you can call me on the phone, as we mentioned. Unless they say virtual only next to them, you can physically come to my office. Or for all of them, whether they say virtual only or not, you can join via Zoom. My Zoom is open during these times. If you ever try to join and run into trouble, just message me or call me and say, hey, your Zoom's not up. And I'll get it on event immediately. What happens sometimes is that if I sit here doing work at my desk with the Zoom open and nobody joins for an hour, it shuts down and I don't even notice it shut down. So that could happen. You could log on and I could have stepped out of my office to talk to someone in another office about something or to run to the restroom or something. So be patient if you log on and you don't see my face immediately or almost immediately. I'll be back soon. So that's these are the office hours that they're listed here. I won't read them all to you, but you can join if you want to use the Zoom by using this link or this QR code. And obviously, if you're on your phone, you would use the QR code probably, or if you're on a desktop, you would just use this link right here. If you've got questions about something that it would be helpful for me to see on your computer, join on a computer so you can share your screen with me. If you just want to talk something through, that QR code would work just fine. Most of the time, people use the Zoom like while kids are napping at school or during their lunch break or something is when people most often Zoom me. They're like, hey, I've got 10 minutes and I've got a question for her. And it just works pretty efficiently. So if you ever need a guaranteed time though, which would still be during office hours, but it would be guaranteed to be your slot, you can schedule a meeting here. If you scan this code or click this link, it's going to take you to my calendar and show you times and dates that I have available. And that's usually done. I mean, it could be for any reason that you want. It's usually done like towards the end of the semester when we're planning your schedule for the next semester. Okay, so scrolling down, here's what you can expect from me in this course. You're going to receive regular announcements. If I had posted any yet, there would also be an announcement tab over here. So once I do, you'll see that. You'll also always see the three most recent announcements up here at the very top. I highly recommend that you set up your settings so that you get announcements and graded assignment alerts on your phone. It's just a way to stay involved in the class and make sure that you're up on things, and it will remind you of due dates and things like that. So I highly recommend that. And there are tutorials in Canvas or probably on YouTube. There are lots of Canvas tutorials on YouTube to show you how to do things. I don't want to, since everybody has different kinds of phones, I'm not going to go through all that. You can search for your type of phone. Okay, I post regular announcements. I participate actively in discussions. That's going to be a big part of your grade is class discussions where you interact with one another, and I don't wait until the end to grade those. I interact with you. As we talked about before, you're going to receive meaningful and individualized feedback on your assignments. I primarily communicate through Canvas Inbox, which is right over here, rather than email because it automatically tells me which class you're in and keeps everything just more organized than email does. So if you've got a question for me, try to use Canvas Inbox, like I said, or call or Zoom or whatever. But if it's not office hours, or even if it is and it's easier for you, use Canvas Inbox. I try to respond as quickly as possible. Officially, instructors have up to 2 business days, so that's Monday through Friday, business days to respond to messages. It would be weighing on me if it took me that long. So if it does take me that long, know that something's wrong. But I I'm not working 24/7. I do have to turn it off sometimes, but I get back to you just as quickly as possible. Assignments. This is all from this statement. I'm just not reading it to you. Assignments will be graded within 7 days of the due date. That's not the submission date. So the due date that I have posted. So even if you turn it in early, yeah, I will grade it sooner if I'm caught up. But please keep in mind that it's easier for my brain to wrap around grading one assignment at a time. So a lot of times I wait till they're all turned in to grade them, and I've got 7 days after the due date to do that. Now, I hate talking about this part because I don't like to go negative from the very beginning here, but we don't have to think of it in a negative way. We can think of it positively, but it is important. You're going to see this statement on the homepage about the use of artificial intelligence or AI. The use of AI to construct responses in child development classes is not acceptable. Not acceptable. That's to construct responses, as in you're not going to type into AI, answer these for me. And then just copy and paste and things like that. There are appropriate uses for AI that we will talk about throughout the semester, but they are not to be doing your work for you. You are preparing for an incredibly important profession, or possibly already taking part in an incredibly important profession. Parents entrust their children with you for a large part of the day. Families and parents trust their children. You trust you with their children. So I need to know that you understand the content and can apply it responsibly. I'm the person who ultimately determines whether or not you've met the criteria to earn your certificate or your degree. And I can't ethically do that if I know that you used AI to construct responses. Then you're asking me to compromise my morals if I do that. So please don't put me in that position. Please do not use AI for your responses. The learning material is there. there's just no reason to use it. The more personal you are in your responses, the less likely I am to think it. And there's no reason for you not to be personal. Most of you, I know not all of you in this class, but most of you are already working in childcare in some way, and you've got some experience already, and you can write about things that have personally happened with you or things that you've seen. So be personal. Here's what I like to liken it to. You wouldn't want to go to a doctor who had relied on AI to get through medical school. You want to go to a doctor who you know knows the content, right? And knows how to cure you or fix your ailments. Families don't want childcare professionals who used AI to get through their training and don't actually know how to take care of their children. This is an incredibly important job that you have. So, like I said, AI has some appropriate uses, and we will talk about them along the way, but you're not to use them for discussions, for replies on discussions, or for written assignments. When students get the most tempted is when I think it seems like students are tempted because they're nervous about their writing and they want it to be written well. And I'm not asking for that. I do want you to learn to be professional writers and things like that because you're professionals and you're going to communicate with parents and you want to always make sure you're getting your message across. So yes, when I see grammatical problems with your work, I'm going to fix it for your benefit so that you can learn to be a better communicator. But I'd rather fix that and know that you wrote something from the content that we've learned in class and from your heart than to think that you went through AI to answer questions. So that said, our plagiarism detector, which is called Turnitin, and you'll read about that in your syllabus, does not detect AI. So if I suspect AI, I use a whole separate detection tool that is not the Turnitin that you're going to read about. If more than 15% of an assignment is flagged as being AI generated, you're going to receive an automatic 0. I'll put documentation of it in your file, and if it repeats, it will be referred to the academic dean. I have been known on that first offense to give students a chance to redo it. That's another instance where you're going to want to be checking your grades often, because if I gave you a 0 because I suspected AI, but say that you have a chance to redo it, you're going to want to see that as soon as possible because the late deduction is going to be clicking. And then we talk about that in another video. My assignments are due when they are due, or they're 5% off per day. But like I said, that's a whole other video. So that policy applies to all child development assignments in every class. Do not use AI to construct your responses. Okay, so let's look at some other Canvas tools though. Up here on the right-hand side, you see your to-do list. And as you do each assignment, it gets removed from your to-do list, and that is very satisfying. And this is a nice way to remind you, hey, here's what's coming up. Another nice way to see what's coming up is the calendar over here. Since I'm in student view right now, if I click on it, it's going to tell me I don't have access to that. But this is going to put in calendar form all your upcoming due dates. And if you're in multiple classes, it color codes them. And when you complete them, it draws a line through them. Again, very satisfying. These are very handy tools once you know about the assignments to keep track of when they're due. They are not, however, how you want to find out about your assignments. What you want to do is go to modules. So in my classes, weeks run from Tuesday morning to Monday night. So every Tuesday, you're going to want to go to modules. Even if you plan to do your work on the weekend, I strongly recommend opening the module as soon as it becomes available, because some assignments, even more so in future classes than in this particular class, some assignments require observations or conversations that you might have at your place of work or your field experience facility during the week. And so if you wait until the weekend, then you might be out of time to do that. So I suggest going to modules every Tuesday. We're going to come back to this module in a second, but you notice the rest of them are set up by week. You can't access these other weeks yet, but week 1 is going to have a start here page with another video from me, and it tells you what we do. The other start here pages are more detailed, like they're going to tell you what chapters to read. They're going to have learning videos for you to watch. They're going to have notes for you, note pages for you if you want to use those. This week we'll see from the assignments that we do this week that there's not a lot of learning material. It's things that you do, like you take a survey and you introduce yourself to your classmates in a discussion and things like that. So there's not learning materials for this week, but the Start Here page is where you're always going to go for your learning materials. So other instructors and I have talked about this, and as much as we try to tell students, it seems like we often halfway through the semester have someone completely lost and doing badly on their assignments because they see the assignment and they try to muddle through it, but they haven't actually been taught anything. And it's because they didn't go to modules. They just went to the assignment. So the modules is where the learning material is, where the videos of us teaching you things. And like I said, the reading assignments and the videos to watch are going to be. So always go to modules each week, and it will walk you through the module and you'll see what to do for that week. So this module that we skipped for now, the Welcome to Child Development module, contains important information and videos, but no assignments. However, it's your assignment in this first week of class to familiarize yourself with everything in here. Okay, please take time to read and watch everything in this module. It's going to help you with that scavenger hunt quiz. And it's just important information that you need to know moving forward for all your assignments. I am holding you responsible for everything in here. So please don't think, well, that's not something we never talked about. If it's in here, we talked about it. We don't have an in-person class where we talk about things. Me typing things in Canvas and posting videos is us talking about it. If you have questions, reach out. But you have to go through these, please. I mean, you see, this is going to tell you how to get your textbook. This is going to tell you how to submit assignments. This is going to tell you what you have to do to make 100s on discussions. This is a very important page for incorporating sources. That means when I ask a question on a written assignment and I say, support this with evidence from your textbook or support it with this teaches you how to do that properly. So very important things in this module that you will definitely need to go through. So finally, a last quick tip about Canvas Inbox. When you message me, always include a clear subject line. Be as specific as possible in your question once you start typing your message. And this just helps avoid delays for me getting an answer back to you. Especially if you answer it like, well, here's a scenario. If you send me a message at night and I'm not working anymore, then the next morning I decide I get back to work and I see your message, but I have questions. I don't really understand what it is you're needing help with or what it is that you're wanting. Well, so then I message you back, but maybe you can't check your message until after you get off work. So you message me back again that next night. Oh, but I'm not working anymore. And you see where this is going. So be as specific as you can in your messages when you have questions for me. Also, to expedite getting your questions answered, make sure you're going to the right person when you have questions. Like if you've got questions about course content, about child development, by all means, ask me. If you have questions about a password or something that's not working in your MyWestern or Canvas in general, you need to go to IT. If you come to me first, you're going to waste the time it takes me to get back to you to say, this is an IT problem, when you could have already been dealing with IT. The same is true if you have questions about your business account or your financial aid or admissions. If you'll get your questions answered in a more timely response by going to the right person. We're all wanting to help you here. And so if you come to me, I'm going to do my best to help you. I'm just saying for your benefit, going to the right person or department first can get your question answered faster. Everybody here is going to try to help you as much as they can, though, I promise. That said, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I often have students begin a message or a phone call with, I'm sorry to bother you. You're not bothering me. You're why I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions and to teach you things about child development and all those things. So you're not bothering me. It's my job. I'm happy to do it. So I know that this has been a lot of information. And I know there's going to be a lot more because you're going to watch a lot of videos in here as well, but I tried to break it down some. You're going to hear from me more as you move through the module this week. I'm really excited to get started. I'm really looking forward to a great semester with you. And again, welcome to Child Development.